In the middle of this picturesque neighborhood lies the remnants of one of Canada's most known serial killers, the pig farm killer. In 1949, a man by the name of Robert Pickton was born. Now, he had a brother and a sister, and they were born to pig farmers. Now, the parents thought pig farming was basically no kind of work for a girl. So they sent his sister to live with relatives in Vancouver, but they kept him and his brother here on the farm and basically made them put their work on the farm ahead of everything else, including hygiene. Now, the mom would make them work long hours, and when they did get to go to school, they would often go to school smelly because you have all this farm filth on your clothes, and needless to say, they were kind of picked on in school. And they struggled a lot with their education. And Robert eventually dropped out and went to work at a butcher shop. I think it was about 7 years he did that. And then he came back to work full-time here on his parents' pig farm. Now, in 1978 and 79, the parents would both pass away, and the land would be inherited by the kids. Now, which they would in turn around and sell portions of the land. One thing that got built is an elementary school close to here. But needless to say, with the selling of the land, it earned them millions of dollars. So they didn't necessarily have to be the hard-working pig farm anymore at that point. You're millionaires. You can do other things. So the area we're walking in is literally nestled in between houses and apartments, but it's still chained off. And you can still see pieces of what I'm assuming is the farm. Now, one worker by the name of Bill that was here during those pig farm days stated that it was a creepy looking place and that they actually had a 600-pound boar that would patrol the perimeter of the farm, and that he stated that Robert was a pretty quiet guy. He was hard to talk to, but he had no evidence of like substance abuse or anything. He was just bizarre.
You see this piece of equipment in front of you. It's about as far as I can zoom in, but right there. Not really sure what that is. It kind of looks like it would have been something from the farm. Maybe, I don't know. Looks like it would be pulled with a tractor or a truck. Could have been fuel tank. Could have been, I don't know, something to pump sewage out with, or even fertilizer. But if you know what this might have been, let us know in the comments. But it's definitely old and rusty. It's definitely been here for some time. Just not 100% sure what it is.
In 1997, Pickton was arrested for attempted murder on a sex worker. Now, she claimed that he picked her up, brought her back here to his trailer on the property, handcuffed her, and proceeded to stab her. Well, she was able to get away and in turn de-arm him basically and stab him right back a couple of times. And she managed to get to the road and get help. Now, they would both go to the hospital, and he's probably knowing she's going to get there and she's going to tell the cops about me. So he comes up with this story that she was trying to rob him, and she attacked him, and that's kind of where the altercation come in. But police, I guess, decided to side with her. But here's the kicker. Since she was like a drug user, and they said that she was not fit to basically testify, so nothing ever happened with it.
Peter, it's disturbing enough to see Robert William Pickton questioned by police 12 years ago. Even more chilling to know afterwards he just walked away. Already the leading suspect in the case of Vancouver's missing women, it was a relaxed Robert William Pickton who sat down with police.
Do you drink? Oh, no, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't use drugs. And then everybody says, how come your eyes are so bloodshot? I says,
this tape is now public because it's evidence at this judicial inquiry, trying to find out whether police should have arrested Pickton earlier. During the interrogation, investigators asked him about a vicious knife fight with a woman at his farm.
I turned around, I didn't take the knife away from her. I did not take the knife away from her. I aimed it to her and I knifed her twice. I did that. I admit I did that. That's one thing I shouldn't have done.
2 hours of questions, no incriminating answers.
So you've never taken any of the prostitutes back to your trailer?
Not since this incident, no. Hey.
But before that incident?
No.
In Pickton's case, it would be 2 more years before he was arrested.
Had the interview been better handled, the result may well have been differently, and Mr. Pickton may well have been prevented from murdering a number of women who died after that date.
Remember when I told you that they sold some of the land and got a bunch of money? Well, they were eventually sued because they were violating the zoning ordinance, neglecting the agriculture for which the land had been zoned, because they altered a farm building here to be able to hold like these big dances and concerts and other kinds of parties. And they registered as a nonprofit charity called the Piggy Palace Good Time Society. Well, these parties were massive. You're talking about like 2,000 people showing up for these things. A lot of them were sex workers, and even the Hells Angels had been known to show up for some of these lavish soirees here at the Piggy Palace.
We have some more equipment left out here in the farm area. Not sure what it's used for. I know this one has a conveyor belt on it along with this one. Now this one over here I've seen a few times. I can't put my finger on what it is, but I have seen it a few times at the farms around our house being used and pulled by tractors. But these, I don't know, maybe for moving grain.
Now the brothers kept ignoring their legal troubles until, well, they had no choice and everything was shut down here. Police would actually come in February 2nd of 2002 with a warrant to raid the grounds they were looking for like illegal weapons. But when they got here, what they found basically made them get another warrant, because they found items from women that had been missing. Well, the 2 brothers were arrested. They were released. But after that second warrant went out, well, Robert was then charged. Started off with 2 accounts, and then the names just kept piling up. As you can see here on the fence, I mean, people still come here and they leave roses and lights for victims that Robert Pickton, you know, heinously murdered here. In November of 2003, excavations would actually take place here on the grounds, costing millions of dollars. Now, the property was fenced off because it was under lien by the Crown and Right of British Columbia, and it's pretty much remained so since last year. Now, all the buildings were demolished with the exception of one barn that we're going to take you around to see now.
Now, we know they brought in some heavy equipment to shift the dirt around and move it to try to excavate and find more bodies. And we're assuming that that's what a lot of these mounds that look like this in front of you are from them digging around and excavating the land. But if you're from this area and you know the story, or maybe you were here when it all happened, let us know in the comments. Let us know if what we're saying about these mounds is right.
While he was in jail, he was actually, I guess you could say, interviewed by an undercover cop, where he admitted that he actually had 49 victims. And he said that he only wished he would have gotten to 50, but he just got sloppy with it.
Really? See? Fucking God, fucking ridiculous. Fucking. I was only one more. Maybe 50. That's what I was sloppy for. Yeah.
Now, some of the methods that he would use to kill his victims, it said that while he was having sexual intercourse with them, he would strangle them. Now, they would be handcuffed also. And after the deed was done, he would take them, basically slaughter them, bleed them out type thing, and then feed them to his pigs. What the pigs didn't eat, it was said that he put those remains in a barrel and sent them off to a rendering plant.
No. No shit. That's gotta be fucking pretty good. Okay? Can't be much fucking left.
That was actually near the area that he was picking up his victims from, because he was getting these women from a bad part of town. They were drug addicts, homeless people, sex workers, that type of thing. Here's the one remaining structure that remains from the farm. Now, another thing that people stated was that he would sometimes grind his victims up in his meat, and he would actually sell it to people to eat. That's pretty disgusting. As you can see on this side of the fence, people have left roses here. There's another one, little patch right here. Defend our sacred, honor our MMIW, protect our women. Because a lot of his women, like his victims that he were picking up, were indigenous women. He would ultimately be convicted in 2007. They found him guilty on 6 counts, second-degree murder, and he would go to prison for life. Robert Pickton was murdered in prison. Another prisoner that had been known to attack other cellmates basically speared Pickton in the head with what appeared to be like a broken broom handle. He went to the hospital and died there.
Convicted murderer and serial killer Robert Pickton has died. Now, Pickton had been serving an indeterminate sentence for 6 counts of second-degree murder. He had lured women from Vancouver's downtown east side to his pig farm and was charged with killing 26 women. Let's bring in CTV's Andrew Johnson. And Andrew, set this up for it. The last we heard, the 74-year-old was attacked in a Quebec prison. Now, what happened?
Well, Sandy, since his conviction, Robert Pickton has been held in a special unit in maximum security prison designed to keep him away from other inmates. So news he was attacked there May 19th came as a surprise. We spoke with the Vancouver Sun reporter who first broke that story. She was told another inmate with a history of assaults had been in segregation, but was released into Pickton's unit, and that's where the serial killer was speared in the head with something like a broom. Quebec Provincial Police say the assault happened around 5:15 p.m. inside the Port Cartier institution, and a 51-year-old suspect was incarcerated following that attack. Pickton was reportedly airlifted to the hospital in Quebec City, where he was on life support before his death announced today.
Here's a different angle of the barn. This actually, you can see the front of it. Some of the railings still here. More piles from where they must have been when they were digging in the ground looking for remains. Now, there were a lot of different things found here, lots of body parts. They were able to get, DNA from victims and all that. I mean, really, if you think about it, this right here, since Robert Pickton, the pig farm killer, was kind of Canada's, one of their most notorious serial killers. This, in essence, for us would be like standing and seeing a structure left from like Ed Gein's house or like Jeffrey Dahmer. And it's blowing my mind that there is still a piece of this still here. Crazy.
Well, that does it for this video on Robert Pickton. Special shout out to our VIP Road Warrior patron, the Crip Lady. Thanks for your sponsorship each month. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for watching this video. Check us out on all social media, Exit to Adventure. And until next time, we'll catch you down the road at the next exit.
Keep it spooky.
Later.